Who is really behind that BTS billboard in Toronto? And why do fans only see one name? Jungkook. Is it really just a BTS logo? Or is it a silent message hiding in plain sight? Why did thousands of fans suddenly shout one name when no face, no voice, and no member was shown? And how did a single billboard in Toronto turn into the most emotional battlefield of theories, hope, jealousy, excitement, and fear among ARMY worldwide? On a cloudy night in mid-January 2026, something happened in Toronto that no one expected to feel so personal. At Yonge-Dundas Square, now known as Sankofa Square, giant digital screens lit up the darkness with red and white light. The logo was simple, just BTS.
No faces, no silhouettes,
no individual names, only words that hit like a heartbeat. BTS World Tour Toronto, July 12th to 14th, Scotiabank Arena, and tickets on sale March 1st. The video, uploaded by fan account @chartsdalic, spread like wildfire. Within hours, more than 183,000 views stacked up, and the comments section turned into a storm. But something strange happened. Even though the billboard showed only BTS, fans were not talking about BTS as 7. They were talking about one, Jungkook. Why Jungkook? Why now? And why did so many people feel something different in a billboard that looked, on the surface, completely normal? Fans started writing things like, "This feels like Jungkook era. I don't know why, but I see Jungkook in this. And this energy is not random." Some said it was intuition. Some said it was emotional memory. Some said it was fear. Some said it was excitement they didn't know how to explain. And then the theories began. Some fans said the red and white color felt like Jungkook's solo visuals. Others said the timing was too perfect, coming after his massive solo success. Some pointed to the silence around individual members and said silence itself was the clue. Because when Jungkook goes quiet, something big usually follows. But the billboard never said Jungkook. It never showed his face. It never mentioned his name. Yet somehow, thousands of people saw him anyway. What kind of power is that? The official story is simple. Toronto is one of the stops for BTS World Tour 2026 to 2027. The tour will include 79 concerts across 34 regions, starting in 2026 and continuing into 2027. North America will be the largest leg, with 28 shows in 12 cities, including Toronto. The concerts in Toronto are scheduled for July 12th to 14th at Scotiabank Arena, while another report mentions August 22nd to 23rd at Rogers Centre, a massive stadium that can hold over 50,000 people. Tickets will go on sale March 1. The tour also aligns with the release of a new BTS album on March 20th, 2026. This is their true return after military service. This is supposed to be the moment where 7 becomes 7 again on the world stage. So why do fans feel like this moment belongs especially to Jungkook? It didn't start with the billboard. It started long before. Jungkook's solo era didn't just succeed. It dominated. His songs didn't just chart. They stayed. They didn't just go viral. They became part of everyday life, from gyms to cafes, from TikTok to radio stations that had never played Korean music before. He became a global pop figure, not just a K-pop idol. And while the other members also had strong solo projects, Jungkook's impact felt louder, wider, and more constant. Some fans loved that. Some fans felt scared by it, because BTS has always been about 7. Not one above the rest. Not one as the center forever. The balance is part of their identity. When one member starts to feel too big, people worry about cracks forming in something that was built on unity. So when a massive BTS billboard appears in Toronto, and fans emotionally sense Jungkook before anyone else, it touches a sensitive nerve. Is this just imagination? Or is the industry itself slowly shaping BTS into something different? In the comments under the viral video, one fan wrote, "It's BTS, but it feels like Jungkook is leading this energy." Another replied, "Maybe because he's the last image people remember strongly." Someone else said, "I'm scared they'll make this tour too centered on one member." And then another voice answered, "Maybe Jungkook just represents BTS right now." That sentence alone explains the entire storm, because representing is not the same as replacing. But in fandom emotions, The line between those two feels dangerously thin. Officially, BTS is still 7. The tour posters say BTS. The album is BTS. The brand deals, the announcements, the interviews all repeat the same message. 7 members, 1 group, 1 comeback. But unofficially, in the hearts of many fans, Jungkook has become the face that casual listeners recognize first. When people who are not ARMY hear BTS, many of them now think of Jungkook before anyone else. That doesn't mean the others are forgotten. It means Jungkook has crossed into a different layer of global visibility, and that kind of visibility changes how promotions feel, even when nothing changes on paper. The Toronto Billboard is a perfect example. It shows nothing special, but fans don't watch with their eyes only. They watch with memory, emotion, history, and fear. They remember how Jungkook carried many stages alone during his solo promotions. They remember how his songs played everywhere. They remember how headlines often put his name before BTS. So when they see a big silent symbol of BTS, they fill the silence with the loudest memory they have. And right now, for many people, that loudest memory is Jungkook. Some fans celebrate this. They say Jungkook earned it. They say his talent, work ethic, and charisma naturally push him forward. They say it's normal that one member becomes more visible at certain times. They say BTS doesn't lose anything when Jungkook shines. Others feel uneasy. They worry that the industry, media, and even the company might slowly reshape BTS into something more centered around one star. They fear that other members might become supporting roles in the eyes of the public. They fear internal imbalance, even if the members themselves never show it. But then there is another layer that many people forget. Jungkook himself has always been deeply loyal to BTS as 7. In interviews, concerts, and emotional moments, he constantly says that BTS is not BTS without all 7. He cries for the group. He worries about the group. He talks about how much he depends on the other members. So the idea that Jungkook would want to overshadow them feels wrong to many who know his personality. Maybe this Jungkook aura is not something he created. Maybe it's something the world created around him. The Toronto Billboard became a mirror. It didn't show faces, but it showed what fans carry inside. Some carry excitement. Some carry fear. Some carry pride. Some carry jealousy they don't want to admit. Some carry hope that their favorite member will shine more. Some carry hope that everyone will shine equally. And all of that emotion poured into one silent image of the BTS logo. One fan wrote, "Why do I feel emotional seeing this?" Another answered, "Because we waited too long." Another said, "Because this feels like the beginning of something big and scary at the same time." The return of BTS is not just a comeback. It's a test of whether 7 can return as 7 after tasting different kinds of freedom, fame, and identity. During the hiatus, each member became more than just a BTS member. They became individual artists. They built their own colors. Now they must blend those colors again, and Jungkook's color is currently the brightest in the global mainstream. That doesn't mean it will stay that way. But right now, it shapes perception. When fans talk about era Jungkook, they don't always mean he will dominate stages. Sometimes they mean the emotional tone of this comeback feels similar to the energy he carried in his solo era. Bold, global, confident, pop-driven, and mainstream-friendly. They feel that BTS's new era might lean closer to that sound, that image, that direction. And if that happens, Jungkook will naturally feel like the symbol of that shift, even if all 7 are equally involved. But nothing is confirmed.
No track list.
No concept photos. No member positions. Only a logo in Toronto, a date, and millions of hearts racing faster than logic. Some fans are already creating wild theories. They say the tour will have special solo-focused stages. They say Jungkook might open or close many shows. They say the company might push him as the main global face for promotions. Others deny all of it, saying BTS has always rotated focus and will continue to do so. What makes this more emotional is the timing. This is not a normal comeback. This is the comeback after separation, after military service, after fear that things might never feel the same. People are sensitive. They want reassurance. They want stability. They want to believe that nothing essential has changed. When a billboard makes them feel something unfamiliar, they panic. But maybe unfamiliar doesn't always mean bad. Maybe it means growth. BTS in 2016 is not BTS in 2026. They are older, wiser, more experienced, more powerful, more divided by solo identity, but also more aware of what they risk losing if they drift too far apart. The Toronto Billboard is not proof of Jungkook era. It is proof of how strongly Jungkook lives in public memory right now. It is proof of how emotional this comeback is. It is proof that fans are not just watching promotions, they're projecting their deepest hopes and fears onto them. When one fan wrote, "This doesn't feel like normal BTS promo," another replied, "Because nothing about this comeback is normal." And that might be the real truth. This is not just a tour. It is a reunion. It is a redefinition. It is a moment where 7 men who walked different paths must walk together again, in front of a world that now sees them differently than before. Jungkook is part of that difference. Not as a threat, not as a replacement, but as a symbol of how far one member can go, and how much the group's identity must stretch to hold all their individual growth. So when fans look at a BTS logo and see Jungkook, they are not saying BTS is only Jungkook. They are saying Jungkook is one of the strongest emotional keys they use to understand this new era. And maybe, in time, they will see all 7 again with the same clarity. But right now, in Toronto, under red and white lights, on a cold night filled with anticipation, one silent logo made people ask the loudest question of all: is BTS coming back as the same 7 we knew, or as 7 who have changed forever? And if they have changed, is that something to fear or something to fall in love with? All over again, the question didn't disappear after the Toronto night. It grew. It followed fans into timelines, group chats, late-night conversations, and silent thoughts they didn't even type. Because once a feeling is born, it doesn't need proof to survive. It only needs repetition. Every time the video of the Billboard replayed, people watched it differently. The first time they saw BTS. The second time they searched for hidden meaning. The third time, they tried to feel what others were feeling. And slowly, even those who didn't think about Jungkook at first began to sense something, not because the Billboard changed, but because the conversation around it did. This is how fandom psychology works. Meaning is not always created by images. It is created by reaction. When enough people react in one direction, the image itself begins to feel like it was designed for that reaction, even if it wasn't. Soon, fan edits appeared. Some took the Billboard footage and layered Jungkook's solo songs under it. Some slowed it down, added dramatic filters, and wrote captions like, "Doesn't this feel like him?" Others did the opposite, editing in all 7 members, trying to reclaim the image as a symbol of unity. 2 emotional movements began quietly fighting each other, one that leaned into the Jungkook aura and one that fought against it. Neither side hated Jungkook. Neither side hated BTS. But they feared different futures. The first group feared missing out. They believed that if Jungkook was becoming the global face of this era, they wanted to be part of that moment, not deny it. They wanted to ride the wave. They wanted to say, "I was there when Jungkook became something bigger than even BTS." The second group feared losing something sacred. They feared that if this era slowly tilted toward one member, the delicate balance that made BTS special would fade. They wanted to protect the idea of 7 standing equally in one line, not one standing slightly ahead. Both fears came from love, and both fears found their battlefield in one simple logo in Toronto. Official news continued. Reports confirmed that the tour would include 79 concerts in 34 regions, running from 2026 to 2027. North America would get 28 shows in 12 cities. Toronto would host major dates. The new album would drop on March 20th, 2026. Tickets would go on sale March 1st. Industry experts predicted the tour could generate over $664 million, possibly more. Brands were already preparing. Hotels near concert venues were already seeing increased searches. Everything pointed to success. But emotional truth doesn't always follow economic logic, because fans weren't just counting shows. They were counting signs. Every small detail became suspicious. Every silence became loud. Every design choice became symbolic. When no member faces were shown on the billboard, some said it meant equality. Others said it meant they were hiding something big. Some said, if it was truly equal, they would show all 7. Others replied, if they showed one, people would riot. So maybe the safest choice was to show none. But safety doesn't stop imagination. Then someone pointed out something subtle. The timing of the Billboard appearance lined up closely with renewed media attention on Jungkook's solo achievements. His songs were still charting. His name was still trending regularly. His image was still everywhere. So fans began to believe the Billboard didn't need his face. His presence was already in the air. This is what made the phrase, Aura Jungkook, spread so fast. Aura doesn't need form. It doesn't need confirmation. It's a feeling that floats above logic.